If you're a father and you're going through a custody dispute and, you're worried about should I seek more than 50-50 or what does that look like, it's really going to depend on what's best for your child. I don't want you to think that just because you're a dad versus a mom that you shouldn't seek more than 50% custody. The judge is going to look at what's in your child's best interest. If you have a 50-50 custody arrangement now, but you want to have more than 50% custody because you don't think the other parent is doing what's best for your child, then that's definitely a conversation we need to have with you. We need to know what's going on with your child. Is the other parent not able to take your child to school? Is the other parent being physically or emotionally abusive towards your child or neglectful towards your child? Is the other parent kind of an absentee parent that's more at work and unavailable to really be there for your child? Does your child have any kind of special emotional or physical needs that the other parent's just unable to meet? What's really going on? And, it's really a nuanced analysis the judge does based on your specific child and his or her specific circumstances. So it's hard to say if you have these 5 things, you should seek more parenting time. So I'd strongly recommend that you schedule a meeting with a divorce attorney or a family law attorney if you're not married, to learn about what's best for you. But if you know in your gut that something's not right with the parenting time with the other parent, and you know in your gut that you should probably be the primary parent or have more than 50%, your gut's usually right. And, if you're just trying to ignore that feeling because you want to avoid conflict, we have a lot of clients like that, and postponing it isn't helping anybody, especially your kid. So the most important thing you need to do is armor yourself up with the information so you can really make an educated decision to do whatever it is that's best for your kid. If you're a father seeking custody of your child and you're nervous that, maybe the system is biased against dads, I want you to know that it can feel that way sometimes, but that's really not how our court system is laid out. It's not supposed to be biased against dads, right? And, there's all different kinds of families now, right? Some families, moms are still the primary caretaker of the kids. Some families, it's dads, and that's great. Dads are great parents too. And a lot of moms now are out there, kicking butt, doing whatever they're doing, running the world with their companies or, as employees, or maybe they just aren't that interested in being moms. They were made to be a mom. It depends on your specific situation to know whether, the judge might be biased. I think more than a gender bias, though, would be a bias against you based on your past behavior. So rather than making it so about you being persecuted or being treated unfairly because you're a dad, when you meet with an attorney at my office, we'll talk you through everything that's going on historically between you and your ex and as co-parents and what's been going on with your child to kind of better understand where the bias might be. And I don't think it's going to be about you as a dad. It's likely going to be about maybe whatever's happened in the past. What a judge is really concerned about is your integrity in doing exactly what it is you're going to do. So if you have a track record of being in court a lot, telling the judge that you're going to do something like, I'm going to, maybe you're living in a different country and you told the judge, I'm going to move back to California in order to be with my child, then do that. Because if you don't do that, the judge is going to stop believing you, right? Like the boy that cried wolf a little bit. If you're a parent that struggles maybe with substance abuse and you've gotten clean and you're saying that you are sober now and able to take care of your child and you have a relapse or the other side catches you, finds out that you have a DUI or something like that, the judge is no longer going to believe you. If you are telling the judge that you want to get your child into therapy, but then, you have the other side has some evidence of you pulling your kid out of therapy, what I'm trying to tell you is our most important prerogative is to make sure the judge is going to know, like, and trust you. So we review all of your evidence so that we can really create the right narrative for the court and understand really what's going on. But we're not going to put lipstick on a pig. So if you have a real bad situation and we don't think you should get more time with your kid, we're going to let you know that the judge probably is not going to agree with you and not going to find this in your kid's best interest. If we agree with you and our heart is in it and we see what you see, then we're the right lawyer for you, right? Because we're always going to be honest with you. So if you have a situation where we believe it's in your child's best interest for you to have more parenting time with your child, maybe it's not so white and black where a judge is really going to get it. And maybe we need to involve a mental health expert to provide testimony, more evidence to a court. Maybe we need to talk to other third parties, other parents that have witnessed you with your kid or the other parent with the kid. There's all different things we can do to help you. Or maybe it's going to come down to just negotiating agreement with the other parent or the other parent's attorney for you to have more parenting time. Because maybe you're seeing it as, you're fighting over these things where there's a lot of friction, but maybe at the end of the day, you want the peel of the orange and the other parent actually just wants the juice, right? There's some way where we can kind of carve out the different factors where you both kind of win in a sense. There's all different ways to negotiate a deal, and oftentimes we can negotiate a custody deal that you're happy with. So if you're thinking that you want more than 50% parenting time with your kid, I would focus less on the numbers of percentages with your child and more on what's really best for your child, because that's where we can win and get you that over 50% want if it's really best, for your family and specifically your child. So if you're having if you have a high conflict kind of custody situation with your kid where you're thinking it probably is best for you to have more than 50% parenting time as a dad, and you're worried about what the court's going to do, I would strongly suggest you schedule a complimentary case evaluation with our intake specialist who will connect you to the right experienced family law attorney on my team, and we'll meet with you and get to know all the details of the situation and really help you define what's in the best interest of your child and help create a roadmap for you of what next steps would look like. If it's hard for you to really think through having more than 50% time with your kid as a dad because you're so fearful that a court's not going to give that to you because you're a dad, and maybe you have friends telling you not to go for it because you're a dad, and the court's going to be biased. They're going to have this gender bias because of, the antiquated idea that only mom should raise the kids. We have so many success stories of dads that actually, we've gotten them full custody of their kids. And maybe you don't need full custody, maybe you do. But we had a situation where the mother actually took the child and moved the child to a different state without telling our client. And we got the child back into California. We had to involve the police in the other state and get emergency court orders. And then the judge determined that, mom had an issue with truthfulness, and she had an issue with complying with court orders, and she was unable to really make decisions that were in her child's best interest. Through our hard work and dedication, the court actually ordered that the dad was to have, primary custody or more than 50%. And the mom had a lower timeshare just because the mom had kind of shown through her track record and behavior that she was unable to do what was best for the child. And we've had this happen on many, many occasions. It's not always mom that is the best parent for the kids. Sometimes mom is, or sometimes both parents are incredible parents, right? But there are times, which might be your situation, where mom just isn't able to be the capable parent she needs to be. And that doesn't mean that she won't be a capable parent in the future. But the judge isn't so concerned about the future. The judge is concerned with right now. We have a case where mom was physically abusing dad, and she was being dishonest with the court, and she was abusing substances. And, the case started by mom filing a restraining order against dad, which really paints dad as the villain, right? And it made our client feel so angry because he had never abused her in his life. And to see this paperwork saying that he physically abused her and emotionally abused her, making up all these stories or kind of exaggerating things that had happened to make it look bad. That can be so heart-wrenching, especially for a man, especially with all this Me Too stuff and everything else. You never want to be accused of that kind of thing. It turned out she was actually abusing him, and he didn't realize it because, he had gone through so much with this woman where he had just kind of normalized it in his head. Like, so she scratches me and makes me bleed. So she bites me. She bit him to the point where he was drawing blood. He had a bad wound on his shoulder. It wasn't just a slight bite. It wasn't a love bite. She's behaving in this manner to me, but it's no big deal because she's a woman and I can take it, right? I'm a man. I'm a big, strong man, and if that's how you feel, fine, but please still tell us all the details because we were able to use those details in order to get our client, sole custody, because we don't want a parent the judge doesn't want a parent to be with the child 50% of the time. If the mom is, under under the influence of substances while caring for the child, or physically abusive or emotionally abusive, or doing things where she's vindictive and being dishonest, filing a false restraining order. I don't want you to get your hopes up and think just by filing a false restraining order is a way to take away mom's custody, because it's about how she is as a parent, right? It's not just based on lying to the court. As some of our clients get really excited when the other side lies, because they think, oh, if we catch her in the lie, that means that the judge will take away her custody. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. I had a case where the mom filed a false restraining order and she still got 50-50, even though, similar to this other one, she actually was the one that abused dad. But she hit him once. There was no long history of abuse. So they each got 50-50. But the point of the story is that it's a possible. You need to come talk to us and we'll kind of assess your situation. In that situation, could dad have gotten primary custody? I think so, if he had been willing to have a mental health evaluation and kind of dig deeper and use experts, because I do think even in that situation, mom did have a lot of problems. But we don't just kind of jump the gun and do something just because we think we can win. That's not what we're about. We need to get to know you and what your values are and what your priorities are. And in that situation, our client was so burnt out and he just wanted everyone to get along. And so we did what he asked us to do, and we ended up with 50-50, and that's what he wanted. So I guess I just want you to know you don't need to be a victim of your circumstances. That, meeting with a family law attorney might feel overwhelming and scary and expensive, but at the end of the day, how much do you value your relationship with your child? Because that's what this is really about. And if the other parent is being unsafe or having behavior that's a danger or detriment to your child, that's something you take very seriously. So if that's the situation you're dealing with, I hope that these stories of situations where dads have kind of, overcome, the mom kidnapping the kid, taking the kid out of state or the country, or abusing the child with unsafe behaviors related to substance abuse or physical or emotional abuse. I hope these stories help you get some kind of courage to really do what's best for your child and take action. So if you're in this situation, I hope you will contact my firm, Fenchel Family Law, and meet with us so we can help you.